Welcome to the Theater of Others podcast. My name is Adam Marple, and I'm the co-artistic director of the Theater of Others. With the COVID-19 pandemic forcing a shutdown and reevaluation of space and gathering, we at the Theater of Others are thinking about what stories we need and how best we can share them. We believe space is psychology, and it informs the way in which an audience interacts and reacts to what is presented to them. We create uniquely theatrical events in bespoke sensory performance spaces crafted to encourage curiosity and grant the audience permission to commune with the play. Now that space has moved online, how can we encourage interaction and action amongst an audience virtually? The Theater of Others produces plays that both welcome and challenge the audience. We are committed to international collaboration and are a laboratory that helps artists grow through intensive study of their craft. The Theater of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purpose of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task, and it requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? On the podcast today from Melbourne, Australia, are co-artistic directors Budi Miller and myself in Cairo, Egypt. This podcast contains explicit language.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Budi.
How you going?
I'm feeling a little under the weather.
Oh, boopy, oopy, doopy, oh. Why are you under the weather? What happened?
Oh, it's probably not COVID, but it's,
Probably not.
probably not. No, I was the only thing I can think of. I was at a conference. I was around a lot of people from overseas, and
You weren't
it
wearing
is
a
what it is.
mask?
No, we were not wearing masks. No, nobody wears masks over here. Ever.
Oh. Ever?
Yeah, no, nobody wears masks.
Oh.
I don't see people wearing masks. It's very odd to see them wearing masks now.
I wear masks when I go to like the doctor, or like I have to get into an elevator, or if I have to talk to a stranger.
Okay. Nope. Nobody wears masks here. I mean,
That's funny 'cause-
COVID wasn't around beforehand, so it
That's
doesn't
true.
exist.
COVID didn't go to. That's right. COVID didn't go to Egypt.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got masks coming out of the yin yang. I literally was wearing. I put on my sweat because I had to put on bottoms because
Because family was over.
Because family's over. And and I was like, what is that bulging thing in my back pocket? And it was a mask.
Yeah. I was pulling out winter coats, and I was finding just masks everywhere from every single pocket in my winter coats. Like, oh, that's where they were. I was wondering.
What does this day come? That's a sure sign of, like, first of all, that we're in like the COVID era, and secondly that we're old men. Like in the old days, used to be condoms coming out of our pockets, condoms and phone numbers, and now it's like a mask.
A mask. Yeah. Ooh, it's an M95. Ooh, I need to get one of those. Ooh,
I
get
know,
that
right?
one.
Talk about merch. we should do a Theater of Others M90 COVID mask.
But they're disposable. Why would we want to continually?
Oh no, we don't
contribute
want
to the.
disposable. No, we don't want that. Yeah, we don't want. So and then if they get a regular mask, is that like quick fashion?
Exactly.
It's only okay. But it's fashion. It was fashion before. It was quick fashion.
If you say so.
How's the onesie coming along?
Yeah, I have not found a onesie. I can't put it in the store, so I did put in a request. I did say,
Oh, good.
But
Good,
there
good,
are
good.
no onesies
Good.
from our distributor. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm pooped. It's
All right.
early. It's early
Yeah,
in the morning.
We've switched our recording times. It's very odd. I don't normally do it at this time. You don't do it at that time. It's very odd to see the sun and the trees behind you.
I need to do my yoga. Okay, so So I have come up with another plan
Okay.
for my physical and mental health.
Great. Share.
Now, and this is for all of y'all out there. This is okay. So I was having a moment with my therapist yesterday because I was just thinking, I need to get in my body. I need to be physical. I need to feel my core strength again. But I was like, I don't want to I get bored working out. It's like but when I was in Bali, because I just got back from Bali,
Yes.
which was amazing. Did we even talk about my Bali trip?
You did an entire podcast about your Bali trip.
Oh, that's is that narcissistic? Well, yeah, for y'all that haven't listened to my solo podcast, I was in Bali. So the thing is that I actually got more fit when I was in Bali because I was doing the work. I was doing all the
Mm.
physical training. I was doing all the dancing. I was doing ketchak. I was and working
Yeah.
with the the best artists on the planet.
Yeah.
Of specifically the Balinese arts because that's my work. And so and I was eating well and eating 3 meals a day, and so I was feeling quite fit. And then I realized that when I came home that I was actually more fit because the hills around my house were not like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, whoa, these hills are not that steep.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, Booty, you need to do something. Girl, you in trouble, girl. Booty, you in trouble, girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
was having a conversation with my therapist yesterday about what am I gonna do, and how do I figure out a workout regime or regimen that I can commit to.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, okay, so like, what do you want? And I was like, I want to just be stronger and more flexible. I was like, it's not about shape for me anymore. The only shape that it needs to be is I need to be able to get into these leather pants that I have, these mosquito leather pants, and
Mm.
and it's not that far off, but it's far enough for me to have to do something about it because I need to get into those leather pants. So I
Mm.
have a physical shape goal, which is not a ridiculous request. And then I'm like, okay, so and he's like, well, what do you want to do if you don't want to be lifting weights? Because I was like, well, I just really miss my remember my Ashtanga yoga practice. Remember how serious I was about Ashtanga yoga in Singapore. I
I
literally
don't.
lived right around a corner from the yoga place,
I know that you lived around the corner from it. Yes, I remember that.
and I used to go every single morning. I don't know why you don't remember this, Adam, because I was like a fanatic at one point. I was getting up. Okay, do you remember me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to work out before coming to school? Remember, I had a trainer. You don't remember anything. You don't love me. You don't remember
I
anything.
is this pre CrossFit or after CrossFit?
This is pre CrossFit.
Yeah. See, I don't. Yeah, I didn't have anything. You used to live way far
Around the
away.
corner. I used to live around the corner first.
You mean right next to school?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I went there
And you
one
remember how
time.
I was always late for class because I was 15 minutes. I was like a 5 minute walk from school.
I do remember that. Yes.
Do you remember Chad calling me, going, "Booty, we
Are
have
you going to
class
teach
right
today?
now." I'm like, "Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. I do
right?
remember
Me
that.
running
Yep.
running to school in my pajamas and teaching class in my pajamas.
This all sounds vaguely familiar. Yes. So you're blaming the
Do you,
Ashtanga yoga for this.
no, but do you not remember when I was waking up early in the morning and going and only eating green apples and chicken breasts?
I do remember that. Yes.
Okay. Do you remember I had a trainer that I used to go to in the morning to to work out?
I don't remember this. This would have been
You don't
this would
love me anymore.
this would have been 2010,
You
maybe
don't love
2011.
me. You don't love me anymore.
I
Well,
mean, I
anyway,
didn't live with you.
Well, you didn't need to live with me. I was a fanatic. I bet you anything Elizabeth remembers. I know Elizabeth remembers. Dr. Elizabeth DeRosa would remember. Anyway,
Maybe she's your best friend.
oh, you better don't. You better don't. So yeah, so Ashtanga yoga. Back to Ashtanga
Hmm.
yoga.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I need that. I was like, and I said to myself, I really want it to be like, I want it to be so embedded in my psyche to do this work, to do my practice, the same way that I quit smoking cigarettes. Like, I have no desire to smoke a cigarette. Like, I had like, there's none. You know what I mean? And I want
Mm-hmm.
that same kind of like regimen in my body of like, I'm just doing my yoga practice. It's just like, breathing, you know?
Hmm.
And so we sat down and I was like, okay, so, all right, what is it? How do we, he's like, but now, he was like, smoking is getting things away from you, but now you want to bring things to you. So how do you want to bring it to you? And I was like, and I grabbed my heart and I took a deep breath and I realized I said, well, the first thing that comes up is just keep breathing. So that's my new mantra because I had a mantra for quitting smoking, which was don't quit quitting. And I said that I was stopping. I didn't say I was quitting. So like if I were ever to have a cigarette again, like oh, I didn't quit, so I didn't start smoking again. But I said I was stopping. Like so that like nomenclature, that language worked for me. So I just like I needed language for yoga, and mine is just keep breathing, which is brilliant because Ashtanga yoga, the first part of the practice is the breath. They're very simple positions, and it's focusing on the breath. So as I grow and develop into the work, I just have to keep giving myself the mantra of just keep breathing. And my therapist says that's great, and you can do that throughout your entire life. And then I was like, and of course I got existential. I was like, well, it is yoga. It is life. Yoga is life. It's like because yoga means one with God. So my breath helps me stay one with God. Namaste. Ask me if I started my practice.
Yeah, exactly.
I had the session was yesterday. I'm gonna start today.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm gonna start today. When I get off the podcast, I'm gonna do some sun salutations, and just keep breathing and see where it takes me.
Fantastic. Great.
Pray for me, y'all. Pray for me. Ask me. What is it? 26 days you have a habit. You create a habit.
I guess I'm not sure.
I think it's 26 days. You create a
Okay.
habit in 26 days. So I got 26 days to create the habit of just keep breathing.
By
Just
the end of February. By the end of February, we have it.
keep breathing. Because I'm still because I'm still like because the other thing is like I'm still moved by Tim Na. Like I'm still like I think about him every day. Like he was a baby like me. We're kids. We're young. We're too. It's like I gotta you know take care of my this body. But the other thing
Yeah.
is what I was also talking about is I still want to have like my cake and eat it too. Like
Hmm.
literally, I want my cake.
You want to enjoy this life. You want to
Yeah,
enjoy this life that
because
you're extending.
well, that's the thing. It's like I'm 50 years old in a month or so, and then it's like, what at 50, I stop enjoying the delicious things that this world can offer because I want to live. Like that's not a life. That's not living. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I've started eating fish again because I just been needed to have like some fish oil, and I've been taking fish oil, but it wasn't the same. So when I was in Bali, I started eating fish again because I know you love the taste of fish. Ladies and gentlemen, a non-binary conforming individuals, Adam Marple is violently allergic to the taste of fish.
Indeed. Indeed.
But when you're in Bali, it's like okay. So you're in Bali. It's like you get some submerged, immersed in the entire experience of Bali. It's like going to a theater festival. It's like when you get completely immersed in the experience. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I started eating fish.
Okay.
I know you don't
Great.
like fish, And I know you don't like when I'm too obvious in my transitions and my segues, but I had to go there because it was low hanging fruit.
Little
Oh,
forced, little shoehorned.
oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then give me your feedback. How could I have done it better? What would you have done?
I would have just started talking about it and not gone to Bali and Ashtanga yoga and fish. I just just said we're talking about the festival today.
And this, my friend, is why you're fat.
Wow.
You're not fat. You're not fat. That's fat with a PH.
Okay. Cool. Hip.
Oh, you're so hip. You're
Hip.
like you're fat. You know, you're like
Yep.
DJ Fad, and you're here to rock.
Sure.
By the way, look at my T-shirt.
I've been
Does it
there.
make you does it make you jealous?
Yeah, of course it does. And I've not been since they've renovated it.
Ooh, it's like Shangri La La. Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary conforming individuals, if you're not watching the YouTube podcast, we're talking about my The Drama Bookshop T-shirt.
Yep.
As I wear my Theater of Others beanie to keep my head nice and warm in this
Yeah.
cool morning in Emerald. You can see the starlight. Well, not starlight. That's sun. You can see the sun. You can see the sun behind me.
Best
I'm
episode
being
ever.
I'm being immersed in my experience here.
I mean, technically, the sun is a star, so yes, you are being showered in starlight. So
I am being showered in starlight. Thank you, Adam, for saving me. They could be like, "What is his problem?" You know what my problem is,
he's
y'all?
he hasn't
You know
done
what my
yoga
problem
yet.
is? No, I haven't been done yoga, and it is 7:30 in the morning. That's my problem, and I haven't had my cuppa. Hang on, let me just have some water from my Theater of Others water bottle. Environmentally friendly, stainless steel water
Oh
bottle.
my God.
Okay, so what are we talking about today, Adam Marple?
18 minutes into the podcast, we are talking about the festival.
18 is a really lucky number. 1 plus 8 is 9, and 9 is now a song of the god of all directions in Pali. And it means God of immortality, God of no restrictions, and God of no
Awesome.
limitations. So 18 minutes in. Yes, Adam. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about the festival.
Le Festival. What do you mean, the festival? Are you talking about what? Are we talking about running? Is it like a festival, like a masquerade? Is it a festival where we have hot dogs and what is it? Venus schnitzels and beer? Are we gonna wear kilts and are we gonna have a nice Shangri La or what are we? What is the festival to us?
I mean, I think we certainly could talk about those things. Those are all lovely things that are all worth mentioning. But specifically for us in this theater podcast, we're talking about a theater festival or a festival wherein theater can be seen, some kind of an arts festival. So
Okay.
I had mentioned a couple of podcasts back that I was leaving to go be on the jury of a festival here in Egypt. So it was on my mind about what makes an effective or an non effective festival.
Are you saying that you had a tar event?
I definitely had a tar event. It was full on Egyptian festival in
So,
all
can you please
its
explain to our listeners what a tar event is?
the smell of Cairo, the smell of Egypt is tobacco, armpit, and rotisserie chicken. That is the melange that is always smelled here. So yes, this was an Egyptian festival, but it was an international festival. There were international companies at the festival, but it was It was something else altogether, is what it was.
What was it?
Disaster, a mess.
Oh, okay. Now that's pretty broad. Get Pacific.
So
But first of all, before you tell
yeah,
us what a disaster it was, what constitutes a good theater festival? So let's be a
yeah,
little bit objective about this. Why
yeah.
are you so upset? What did you expect?
I
And when you
mean,
didn't get it, why are you so upset? Like, what makes a good theater festival? What are you expecting? What are the expectations?
okay. So what I'm expecting from a good theater festival, and this they were never going to be those two things. Like I was never going to expect it to be what I expect to be a good theater festival. When I'm talking about a theater festival, and when I say festival in general, like I mean this term festival is kind of thrown around of like even we say the audio play festival. For the month of September and October, we released a new audio play every single month. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not really a festival, it's more like
No.
we're producing work.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about festival and we use that term festival, a festival takes over something. Like Carnival takes over something. Like it takes over a town. It takes over Venice. It takes over Sao Paulo. It takes over a place, and everything is turned upside down. That's what a festival is supposed to do. That's the best idea of what a festival can do. And so, theater festivals that do that are festivals like Edinburgh Fringe Festival, or Avignon in France.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
they take over a city. A city actually ceases all operations and puts all of its focus on that thing. There are opera festivals. There are towns that Glimmerglass does this, and there are festivals that deal with specific musicians. Salzburg will do this with Mozart. So those are festivals that everybody is here to devote themselves to a thing,
To a
whether it
theme.
to a theme exactly, and having a time specific and a space specific parameter is really important to that, which is why New York has never really kind of grasped the festival thing well enough because
You
you
can't stop
can't
the
get
city.
you can't stop the city and you can't get a neighborhood all together, and you can get maybe a building, you maybe get
Yeah.
a theater space, but you can't get
Yeah.
a festival in a in a whole town of New York. So you have to you have to be able to go to it. There has to Burning Man is a festival. It is there's a sense of a journey, a sense of pilgrimage to it. People who go
Mm.
to these things, there's a sense of, oh, I want to be a part of this thing. So
I like a festival being like a pilgrimage or a journey. I like that
yeah,
feeling. Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
way to describe it.
Suzuki set up his entire theater company and the Togamura Festival as a pilgrimage. I mean, it's a very, very difficult to get
Hmm.
to Togamura.
Oh,
It's
how
it's
difficult? You got to
it's
climb
about a
mountains.
it's a 3 hour train from Tokyo, and then you got to
Uh
take a
huh.
bus into the mountains, and then you have
Uh
to
huh.
walk the rest of the way,
How much
and
of a
then
walk?
it's a pretty long walk, and you have to stay overnight. It's not like you can go see a show and then get back on a train and go back home. Like
To stay
you're
overnight, I
there.
like.
Yeah,
How long is the walk? How many hills?
many hills, so many hills that they're alive with the sound of music.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So I certainly was not expecting this festival to be that.
Okay, so you weren't expecting a pilgrimage.
I was not expecting a pilgrimage. This was the first of this festival. This will also be the last of this festival.
Oh,
I'm going.
shade.
I'm putting that premonition out there right now. I don't mind the shade. I'm not. I'm not trying to be shady about this, but
Well, but
we're talking about why this failed.
but they also couldn't get your name right. So you already came with a little a tint in your glasses.
Yeah, there was many things wrong with it before I
What was
even
your
got there.
name in the festival?
American director Professor Adam Christager.
So that should have already told you what it was going to be.
Yeah. So the
Adam,
Christager
Mr.
is
Adam Kissinger.
my middle name is Christopher. So somehow Christopher turned into Christager, and Marple just went completely to the wayside. It took a long time to get that fixed, but yes, it was eventually fixed by the time I got there.
Like,
Um,
really fixed, or was it did it stay Christopher?
I- no, it was only on the website and social media that it was there. Once any kind of printed material was there, I was like, fix my name, please. Just fix my name. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
So
So,
that was as we know and how we do our theater. That's your
yeah,
first entrance as an audience member, right? So
yeah, yeah,
you going to this festival, this was your first offer as an audience member, was that they
yeah,
were going to misspell your name
yeah,
and misprint your name and not do the research to have a judge's identity correct.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Continue.
And so, the thing is, of course, little, things will happen. Of course, they'll always happen. But how you handle that response, how you handle that misstep, also tells you if that was a bug or if that's a feature. So, like, when I notified them this, my name was incorrect. you know, the appropriate response is, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me fix that for you." Blah 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 blah. Instead, it went by for weeks with nobody fixing it, with nobody doing anything about it, and that's what it started to become a thing where I realized a lot of these little things add up to a bunch of big things. And so, what I found out once I got there was nobody knew what they were supposed to do. They had titles, but they didn't know what those titles meant.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So wait, what?
Yeah,
Wait, hold
yeah,
on. Well, once again, it already sounds like that's what you were going to walk into anyway. So were you surprised?
yeah. I kept getting surprised because it just I couldn't I was dumbfounded by the lack of kind of organization. The left hand didn't talk to the right hand to the point where nobody actually knew what was going on. And so it was all waiting on one person. It was all waiting on the artistic director of the festival to say everything to everybody. And I couldn't figure out if, and this is an interesting thing to think about in terms of festivals, because there is always a guider. There's somebody who's guiding, who's pointing the way. And they're usually a charismatic person. There's an artistic person, somebody who has, maybe it is always the same artistic director, maybe every single year it changes like it does in Avignon. But that person points in a direction, and then everybody else is supposed to kind of line up and follow. But what happens when that person is the only person who has the information? That person is the only person who knows what's supposed to be going on.
But like, how? Wait, I. Th- but that makes no sense.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Do you know what it feels like? Wow. You know what it feels like?
Hmm.
It feels like the first day of my wedding excursion, where I was the only person who knew everything that was going on, and I was losing my mind.
Yes.
And then I just passed it over to you. I was like, Adam, I'm done. Take it.
Yeah. It needs delegation. I mean, it needs a lot of hands on deck, but it needs somebody who can say, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And it can't be the person who's marching that way. It can't be that person. It's got to be somebody else who goes, you're in charge of these things. Find 7 people to delegate those things to, and you're going to be in charge of these 3
But
things.
did you not have meetings with these people?
I have no idea. Once we got there, I mean, it was already falling apart before we got there, but once we got there, it was just
Wait, like,
chaos.
so these people that with okay, were these people paid for these positions?
No, no.
Oh Lord.
Well, I mean, some of them may have been, but at least the ones that I talked with and were kind of like became friends with afterwards when we all quit the festival, they weren't for sure. They were
Wait,
not.
wait, wait. So okay. So there was no. Oh. It sounds like chaos.
It was. It really
It.
was.
You know what it sounds like? What is that festival that guy this got all this money
The Fire
for.
Festival. Yes,
Yes, that's what it
that
sounds
is
like.
that is exactly what I compared it to. That's exactly what I compared it to. Was the Fire Festival. It wasn't as bad as that because I didn't have to sleep on a mattress with a cheese sandwich. I at least had a hotel room booked in my name. But it really was. I couldn't believe how like there were a lot of parallels for sure. There was a
Okay,
lot of
so
promise and no
okay,
delivery. Yeah.
okay, so continue. So people didn't know what their job was. No one knew what was going on, and then
And the momentum of something can carry something forward for a little while. And hope and prayer and kind of and seriously, like all of us were gung ho about it, and we were holding on as long as possible. And there's a
so it was a
moment,
frisbee that was thrown without a person to catch it.
pretty much, yes. And that was and then one of us would run over and we would pick up the frisbee and we would throw it back. And then eventually we would all start getting tired of running over and throwing the frisbee and then going, why isn't there somebody over there already to catch the frisbee? So then the questions started to happen. A lot of anger and emotion started to happen around that.
Ooh, I want to
And
hear
the
about the
entire
drama. Come on, come on. What?
a very famous actor was the kind of the face of this festival, and he was out there, making speeches every single night and kind of leading the artistic groups and interviewing them afterwards and everything, and I know he was a very famous guy because I was in the hotel with him and people were coming up and taking photos with him and all this and everything. And eventually it got to the point where he lost it. He said, "What what is this? What is this festival? This I can't believe I've put my name to this, my reputation to this. This is people are going to associate me with this." Um, to the point where they didn't book hotels for people. They didn't have transportation for people. We were kept out for extended periods of time and couldn't have lunch or dinner because of the time that we were brought out and then taken away. And then it was just we would get to a venue and the venue wouldn't have the proper equipment to something. We were showing films as well, but the venue that we were at didn't have a drive to where you could put in a USB so that you could show the film from the filmmakers. So then we all were sitting around for hours at this place to then just say, we have to cancel. We have to go to the other venue. We're sorry. We would go to the other venue, and it's a big, massive theater space that was a quarter filled. And I felt for the artists on stage because they were invited to an international festival and they're here and they're performing their art and nobody is watching it. And I, as a juror, I'm thinking I'm supposed to be watching this because I'm going to be judging something. I'm going to be giving out a prize. There was nothing for me to do. There was nothing expected of me.
Prize.
There was nothing expected of me. There was nothing asked of me. There was nothing expected of me. There was no prizes given. There were no awards or of any kind. And after the third time of watching like a local gymnastics team do like some kind of dance choreography on
Wait, a
stage.
local gymnastics team?
Yes. Literally children dancing in like this like I don't even know how to describe it, but like you know what it's like. Like kids have a pageant, like a little show that they got to put on for their parents, so
Oh
that they can
no.
prove they were here for 6 weeks after school and they did a thing. That's the thing that I watched.
Oh no.
I watched it 3 times
Oh
because
no. Why?
they kept asking them to come back and do it.
What?
Well, they didn't get visas for the Tunisians,
Wait,
and
wait, 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 wait. Before the visas with the Tunisians, why did they keep asking him to come back and do it?
because there were artists that couldn't come because they couldn't get visas for the Tunisians. So the Tunisian performers couldn't make it. So there was a giant hole in the program now. And so the kids performed on the first night, and that was cute. That was fine. So now that we've got a hole in the program, why don't we just ask the kids to come back and perform again?
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
And there was a Palestinian dance troupe, and they were lovely. They were, they were kind of like 18 to 24-year-old Palestinian doing a kind of a traditional dance. Really, really cool, really nice. And they performed on the first night as well. They were kind of the opening act. They were like the guest act of the first night. And they did really cool, and it was great, and everybody loved it and everything. And it was pro-Palestine and all this and everything. And so,
Mm.
because there was a giant hole in the second night, they invited the kids back, and they thought, well, we got to invite the Palestinian dancers back as well. So the Palestinian dancers danced a second night.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then they showed some of the films, and they were okay. And then they had a lot of singers, and then they asked the singers back on the third night. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm going, what am I doing? What am I supposed to do here? Am I just supposed to be a face? Like nobody's talking to me. Nobody's
Oh
taking
my
pictures. Like
God.
I'm not doing anything. And that's when I revolted. That's when I said,
Oh
what if
no.
I just what if I just don't come? I will find out very quickly if I'm supposed to be doing something. If they notice that I'm not here and they come to get me. And I left, and I just went to dinner, a very extended dinner, and I walked
Oh, was it
around.
nice? Did you have a nice
It
dinner?
was it was it was fine. It was lovely, just being on my own, not having to watch children dance.
Which is your favorite?
Yeah. And so I realized nobody noticed that I was gone. Nobody was looking for me. I just needed to be back for the bus to take me back to my hotel. And then I decided the next day I wasn't going to leave my hotel. I was just going to stay at the pool all day long. I wasn't going to go and do anything. And it turns out nobody noticed. Nobody
Wow.
even noticed that I wasn't there.
So you basically got a free trip.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I spent 8 days in hotels at a pool.
Was it a nice hotel?
It was okay. It was fine. I would have just really preferred to have gone somewhere else for my vacation or stayed home.
Wow. Did you make any friends?
I made my translator was my friend who continuously and still to this day is apologizing, continuously saying, "I had nothing to do with that festival. I was just hired to be your translator. I don't want you to think that I had anything to do with that. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I'm embarrassed for my country. That's not what we do."
Wow. Embarrassed for my country. That's bad.
Yeah, that's what he said. It was pretty bad.
Wow. And the famous actor, did you get his autograph?
I never I never saw him. He left. He was my next door neighbor at the hotel, and then I never saw him again. He left. He quit. He quit the festival. Everybody quit the festival. So it was 4 days in one city, and then 4 days in another city. And by the time we moved to the second city, everyone had quit.
But wait a minute.
Everyone
So
had quit.
did you at least meet the artistic director?
Yes, at the airport. At the
When you
airport
arrived.
the first when he arrived. Yeah.
Okay, I was like at the airport. Wait. I was just picturing him. You ran into him at the airport when you were leaving. Like he was trying to get out too. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay, so that was a festival that was a nightmare. Okay, so
Yes. Yes.
I think we should take a break and come back and talk about a festival that was actually something that you know changed your whole idea of what a
Yeah.
festival could be. I think we should
Sure.
end on a high
On a
note
good note,
because
on a good note
that
of what
was
if
woo,
go to a
that was
festival.
oh honey, that's getting in the way of my just breathe,
Yeah.
just breathe. So let's take a break. Jakina, can you get us some just breathe music, please? Um,
Yes, please.
Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary conforming individuals, you're listening to the stereo sounds of JDB, Jack David Burmeister. Wow. I'm really breathing deeply now, Jack.
I can breathe again. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you so much, Jakina. Thank you so much. So, tell me about a festival that altered your idea of what a theater festival could be and made you excited to go to another one.
Avignon. Avignon for me
Oh, you
is like
love Avignon. You go all the.
I
You used
love.
to go
I love.
every year.
Yeah, yeah. I did. I
You
did.
love Avignon. Okay, so walk us through Avignon.
So Avignon is this. It's this medieval
It's
city in the
pronounced
south of
Avignon.
Avignon. It's this medieval city in the south of France, and it is. I mean, it is a walled-in city, so it has parameters. It has defined space, and since the early '50s, I believe, there has been this festival that has grown year after year and taken over the town, really taken over the entire town. And it is Europe, so there are theaters in every single city, but there are also large spaces. The Palais de Pape is there, which is this massive kind of open air courtyard, which is the big things go there. But there's also smaller theaters and churches, and then you can kind of travel outside of Avignon to, kind of
Country
little
towns.
villages, country towns that have theater spaces as well. And it's grown so large that there is a fringe to this festival as well. And I mean, it brings in 1 million plus people every single
Oh, it's
year
so
to
cool.
see works that come from all over the world. I mean, it is the largest theater festival. Edinburgh and Avignon go back and forth every single year, and I've not made it to Edinburgh before, but Avignon is really just like I said, when it takes over the town, like you'll be sitting at a cafe, eating, and there'll be performers in the street, like busking for you to come and see their show. And because everything it's happening like every 30 minutes, something is happening somewhere. Yes, I'm going to see Romeo Castellucci or Thomas Ostermeyer or things like the big names of European theater. But then there's a small theater troupe from Cyprus that just, they got a couple of dollars and flew over and they're going to put on their, show about whatever. And they've got a space for, an hour and a half. And then they do a quick changeover. And then there's another company from Germany that's coming in or whatever. And it's just theater for I think it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I can't remember how long it is, but it's just fascinating and it's just love and you're just amazed and you want to stay there and you want to drink and you want to get into that drum circle and you want to shop and you want to just be there and then I bought 3 tickets. That's all I was going to see, but what else could I find? This is crap. Oh my god, that was amazing. This is just a puppet show. It's just you don't know what it's going to be. It's phenomenal. It's fascinating. Yeah.
That sounds like heaven.
It is. It is. It's one of my favorite. I miss it. I have not been back since, oh God, 2015,
And you're so close.
2016. I know. I know. Yeah.
You're really close.
I'm very close. It is. It's always in the summer. It's in the summer. It's like June to July, I think, is at the time period. I'll link it in the show notes. And they change the artistic director every single year. And they've got a kind of a theme-ish, but not really. And it's just some of the best work, some of the best work out there. Yeah.
So tell me some of your favorite shows that you've seen at Avion outside of the big stuff, like the smaller stuff.
See, it's hard to define what is big and what is small sometimes
Well, I mean,
because
like Castellucci's big.
Castellucci is big, yes, and Ivo van Hove. The first show
Yes,
that I
big.
saw by Ivo van Hove was there, but
What you see?
the Roman tragedies, the
Oh, that must have been
Julius
amazing.
Caesar, Antony Cleopatra, Coriolanus. Yeah,
I love when he does those. I love when he does a mashup.
yeah.
Did you see the Kings of War?
I haven't seen Kings of War. No, I
Oh,
know,
it was
and I'm a
so
huge
good.
Henry fan, so
It was so good. The scariest Richard III I've ever seen. The
I love that
scariest.
actor. I love that actor.
The
He's a phenomenal actor.
scariest.
Yeah, yeah. He's a
Okay,
great actor.
okay. I said let's not talk about the big ones and look at
Yeah.
us.
Talk about the
Because
big
we're
ones.
size queens. We're size queens. Let's not talk about the big ones.
So this is a big name director, Katie Mitchell, but this was actually a very, very small show. And this was a show with one person, and it wasn't even an actor, it was a scientist. And it was a one-man show by a climate scientist talking about climate science, which this would have been 2012 or
Wow.
2013, and it's highly influential for me because it's influencing the work that I'm doing right now, The Earth Turns, of how to get past the science and into the humanity. Because this is a climate scientist, and if he's just going to sit there and give us numbers for an hour and a half, but it was a fascinating performance. Now, I can't remember the name of it, but I will link it in the show notes. That was a small performance. I saw a piece where it was marionette theater. Beautiful, beautiful. Just again, stupid theater is always my favorite.
Mine
Theater that
too.
is just it's just I'm not talking like literally stupid, like what the fuck is going on, but but just like foolish,
Where your
foolish
imagination
theater.
has to take over. Yeah.
Naivete, exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of mime, which is bad. There's a lot of clown, which sometimes can be bad.
Hey, hey, mime, which is bad. You know that all mime is bad. David's listening.
Not all mime is bad, but when it's bad, it's bad.
He did say that. He did say that.
Yeah, and it's there's a lot of kind of commedia that's happening, but
Is it
then
good or
you
bad?
have mostly bad. But sometimes you'll find
Fabio's
something.
listening. Not all comedio's bad. Fabio's listening.
But sometimes you'll find something like finger puppets. I literally
Oh, I love
saw
it
a
already.
production of finger puppets, and
I love it already.
it was brilliant. It was stunning. I was like crying sometimes. It was just so beautiful and lovely and simple and just simple.
Well, but the thing about the the thing, the thing
The
about
thing.
finger puppets is that because of our emotional connection and the dexterity of the fingers, there's a lot of language that happens in the fingers, and to be able to do puppetry with the fingers, it articulates
Yeah.
emotionally the same way we would do if we were using our mouths. So, so I can imagine why you were crying with the puppet theater with the fingers.
Yeah, I think just to see so many different forms of theater, because so much of the time when we go to watch theater, it's all kind of the same. I mean, even if you change genres, you're still kind of watching the same rough kind of way of making theater. But I saw so many. But a festival allows for, usually a big festival like this allows for so many different representations that I would never normally allow myself to go and see. I would never be able to afford. I would never say like, well, I'm going to go see finger puppet theater tonight. But when it's there, when you have a buffet, well, yes, I'm going to load my plate up. But if it's just a
Yeah.
restaurant that serves, hamburgers, then I'm just going to have a hamburger. And hamburgers are fantastic. I love hamburgers. But, to have that kind of ability. And then of course, you're meeting people. You're meeting other people who love theater just as much as you do, who have gone on this pilgrimage just like you have. And when you meet your fellow nerd in the world and you realize you can nerd out together, you realize that, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this. What have you seen? What do you recommend? Have you heard about this? It's a lovely way to share. And then those friendships can grow, and you can share that with them and keep in touch later on down the line. Again, it's got to be space specific. It's got to have a definable here. There's got to be a definable here so that community can be built, and there's got to be definable time. Otherwise, it's amorphous and it can't happen, and it's just a season. A season cannot be a festival. A festival has to be defined by these time limits and these space limits. So
Yeah. I'm you gotten me all excited. We need to go to some festivals
yeah,
again. Now that
yeah.
we are back to performance. We need to feed our souls, y'all. We all need to go to festivals. We all need to go to festivals. Look at this. We're going. I think it's time for provocations.
I mean, those were gonna be my provocations. Yeah.
Okay, so what are your provocations, Adam Marple?
Go to a festival. Research of. Well, this is the thing. So, okay, there's probably not a festival right now. I mean, and it's too late, right?
Go to a festival.
But just go to the festival. There's one right outside your door right now. But that's also part of the excitement of it. Is just like with us with the audience. The first glimpse of the thing is when the thing begins. So investigate. Start your pilgrimage now by doing your investigation. Where do you want to go? There's a festival in every single country. So, do you want to go to a specific festival or do you want to go to a specific country?
Specific country, yeah.
So, look at the country that you want to go to and then look at when their festivals are. Is there a very big festival? Do you want to go to small festivals? Is there a genre that you're interested in? What is going to be the defining feature of that? Is it time? Is it space? Is it both of those things together? And so do your research and find out. Have they announced what the shows are? Are the tickets available? How do I find, a place to stay? How do I get there? That's all part of the journey of the festival. It's not it's not tedium. That's the pilgrimage. That's what it is. My first time when I went to Avignon, I could not afford anything. I stayed at a Holiday Inn 3 miles outside of the city, and I walked into the city every single day. I couldn't even afford to take a taxi or the train in. I walked in every single day. And
the good old days.
I stayed at that Holiday Inn specifically because they had a breakfast buffet, and I brought plastic Ziploc baggies with me every single day because I couldn't afford food. And I would get the breakfast buffet, and I would take it with me into the town, and I would eat that.
Wow.
That because I spent all my money on tickets to get there. So that was part of me, me being starving, hungry and whatever. That was part of it. Don't do that to yourself. Plan ahead. But
But if you have to,
if you
do
have
it.
to, yeah.
get there.
Get
It's an
excited about it.
adventure.
Yeah, get excited about it. I mean, they announce things. They announce dates a year in advance, and they announce the tickets, and tickets go on sale months in advance. Get excited about it. Get excited about it now. I mean, we're talking about this in January. This is going to come out in late January. The summer is when all these festivals are happening. Get excited for 4 or 5 months ahead of time. That's my
Yeah, and
provocation.
they're probably already listed already.
Yeah, yeah.
I I'm going to add on to that and say if you and your theater collectives have work to do, apply to these festivals and
Yeah.
get into the fringe. Get into
Yeah.
their fringes. Apply to
Yeah.
their fringe festivals. I have tons of students that go to Edinburgh every year. Like apply and get in and go and have the adventure. Be around theater folk, producing new work, seeing what's out there, seeing what voices are being heard and what people have to say. So I would say if you are a company, get yourself out there and do some work and share your work with the international community.
Yeah. Indeed.
That's my provocation.
Yeah. Apply. Just apply. There's no harm, no foul in applying. What are they gonna? What's the worst they could do? Say no?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a document that you can use for other things as well about what you're doing and why you're doing it. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
A festival. A festival will get you into another festival. Once
Yeah,
you've got
it's
one.
like
Once you've got the festival under your belt, it's
it's an avalanche, y'all. It's an avalanche. It's a snowball. It's the snowball effect.
it is.
Adam Marple, how will we know that these people are doing these things?
They're gonna go to speakpipe.com/theater of others. Again, speakpipe.
What about our fax machine?
Yeah, well, I've disconnected it. Nobody was
Oh, you
calling
disconnected
this
the
last week.
fax. Okay.
Yeah,
No one
nobody was
using it?
nobody was faxing this last week. It was just
Okay,
taking
okay,
up
okay,
electricity. Speakpipe.com/theater of others. Theater with an RE, theater of others, all one word. Leave a 90-second voice message there. You can also email us at podcast@theaterofothers.com. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, and our
Instagram
website.
now.
That's right. You can find us many, many ways. And we got some exciting things coming up on the podcast. And there's only one way to know if you're going to find those things. And it's what, Booty?
You have to
If they do
subscribe, 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 subscribe. I
gotta
feel like the
subscribe
gecko and Bali. You know, with like it just like it keeps
Subscribe.
tripping until like subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
You got to subscribe 16 times.
Subscribe until the breath is there. You gotta subscribe. We do this every week, but we're gonna be in your inbox every single Monday, and you get to hear these beautiful voices talking about theater. And if you really like us, you can do what my Uber driver does. Give us 5 stars. 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. You give me 5 star, I give you 5 star. 5 star, 5 star. And if you really, really like us, you can leave us a little comment and tell us about how wonderful we are, because people read those things, and it actually does help us get out to other people. I'm like, it's like everybody's coming in. People actually do. People do actually do read those things, and then they're gonna join the community. We have to build this community of theater makers. Dun 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 dun. It's a movement.
Yeah.
It's a movement in 5 steps. Dun 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 dun. in my special key, in Budi's key, and it's in B flat. Bum 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 bum. I love you, Adam.
I love you too.
I want you to feel better.
Yeah, I'm going to go collapse in bed is what I'm going to go do.
Have some vitamin C.
Yeah.
Eat some chicken noodle soup.
I don't have any of that.
Oh.
I don't have any vitamin C. I don't have any chicken noodle soup. I don't have any drugs. I'm just going to go cry in my pillow.
Well, send a text message to your wife.
Yeah.
Tell her I love her.
All right. You tell your husband that we love him as well.
I know you do. And he knows you do.
Good.
And Obama loves you as well.
Oh, well, I miss him dearly. I want to cuddle with him right now.
I know. Oh, my God. He's so full of cuddles these days. He's like the cuddliest cuddler. And for everyone else, we'll be back next week talking to you about theater. Bye!
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater Brothers podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterbrothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater Brothers creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.